My plans have completely changed. I've just departed Xi'an railway station. I'm on my way to Baoji, where I'm going to go film some videos today. But when I was at Xi'an railway station, I ran into a couple of subscribers that were on their way to a place called Heyang. And they're going there because Heyang is actually the birthplace of fangbian mian. It has the most ancient fangbian mian in the world. And now all I can think about is going to Heyang, which is also in the opposite direction. So I think maybe tomorrow I'm gonna go to Heyang. So 24 hours and a lot of chili oil consumed in Baoji later, we are ready to begin this next food adventure. So it's now the next day and I'm about to board my first connection to get me to Heyang, but because I booked these trains so last minute, the only train available to get me to Xi'an, where I then have to change trains, is actually a sleeper train. So I have a hard bunk reserved for an hour and a half basically. So I'll document this experience for anyone who may be curious about what traveling in a sleeper train in China is like. And these sleeper trains, they go the distance. This one is going from Xining to Qingdao. Here we go, it's a lupiche. So lupiche, basically green skin train, are old school. They're slower than the modern bullet trains, but lots of people actually choose to take them for the nostalgia factor. Okay, here's my carriage here, and just down the hall, here's my cabin. In a hard sleeper, you have 6 beds in one cabin, 3 levels, and my bed is right on the top there. I'm also not too sure how I actually get up to the top bunk there. It's been a while since I've been on a sleeper. After a while, I did notice these little steps here, but I'd say getting to the top requires some degree of agility. So maybe consider this when booking your bunk. You can actually choose online if you want the bottom, middle, or top bunk, if there's availability, of course. Everyone else is sleeping, so I think the best and smartest decision is to just sit here in the aisle, because I'm just on here for an hour and a half. So my original plan was to follow more of a Silk Road kind of path into Gansu province and then Qinghai province after Baoji. But because Heyang is taking me more in an easterly direction, I've decided I'm just going to go with it. And I think it's for the best because I feel like, you know, Qinghai and Gansu province is probably better when the weather gets a little bit warmer. It's still a little bit cold. So I'm going to leave that trip for a little bit later in the year. So if you're from those places, or if you know what to eat, what to do in Qinghai and Gansu province, let me know in the comments below so I can work that into my trip when I do end up going a little bit later. About an hour and a half later, we arrived in Xi'an, where I then caught my connecting train, which wasn't a sleeper train, but did have us riding backwards the entire journey to Heyang. Okay. So we have officially arrived in Heyang. It's a very small station, and it was only at this moment it hit me I hadn't looked into transportation to get to the city center, so I was just hoping there'd be a free driver who could take me. So I found myself a driver on my way to Heyang, but I think you should know when you come to like smaller towns via train, often the drivers that pick you up, they're gonna try and pick as many passengers as possible to make as much money. So I actually have myself a friend in the back here. 你是西安人对吧？对对对，我是西安的。是旅游的嘛？我过来吃最古老的方便面。雪面。雪面。雪面。啊。你吃过雪面吗？嗯，吃过。觉得怎么样？很复杂，说不清楚。我的好朋友像东北来的，他可能就不是很喜欢。对，我现在住在东北。哦，那你就不要到有了大酒店，我带你吃中。我也先把行李放一下，然后出去吃。能行。啊，对。你把行李放上，我把你带过去。好的，也可以。I mean, gotta love the hustle. It was also so funny because whenever we saw someone walking on the side of the road, he would stop and ask if they need a ride. And I have to say, I'm glad they said no because it would have been a very squishy ride. 除了雪面，还有什么可以吃的？还有那个莲菜嘛，荷花。哦，这儿的莲菜和红薯好吃。哦，这里的红薯好吃。超级好吃，都很甜。在哪里可以吃到？随便超市哪儿买都可以，都是非常甜的红薯。Good news, I love Hongshu. Eventually we reached my fellow passengers' destination. After that we continued on towards my hotel, but before reaching the hotel, the driver suddenly stopped the car. But don't worry, it was for a very, very cute reason. He actually spotted a man selling baked sweet potato on the street. Hey, 你好. 你好. This taxi driver has just stopped to be like, you want to call Hongshu? And I'm like, yeah. 一个就可以，一个小的。谢谢，可以。So now we go back to the car. Oh my god. Heyang is really giving. That was the funniest thing ever. The driver, he just saw someone selling like baked sweet potato in the streets. After I mentioned that, oh, I'm excited to try some sweet potato while I'm here. And we just stopped in the middle of the street. And I went out and bought myself a sweet potato. So of course I'm gonna take a bite. Apparently they're very sweet here. Oh my gosh. Check out that color. It's so vibrant. It's almost like fluorescent. Guys, a 10 out of 10 sweet potato. If you're looking for a good sweet potato, I would recommend you come here to Heyang. It's so good and sweet. It's also baked to perfection, I'd like to say. I mean, some sweet potatoes, they like underbake it in the middle, or it's a little bit hard or less flavorful. It's so flavorful all the way through. Sometimes with the sweet potato, my favorite parts are just the outside that's closest to the skin because it's the most moist and flavorful. But in this sweet potato, even the middle is giving. It's so soft, so delicious all the way through. And it'll definitely go down as one of my more memorable sweet potato experiences. I mean, I haven't even left the taxi and I've already had a food adventure here in Heyang. Gonna pop this in the hotel, then we'll come back and go on our Feng Bien Mian adventure. And guys, I just gotta show you real quick this hotel decor. Whoa. That is one exciting mural. After a quick freshen up, I was good to go. And of course, I'm gonna be giving this man my business. I mean, he brought me a 10 out of 10 sweet potato. He's got my undying loyalty at this point.
就是这个。
哦，看到了。好，谢谢。好，明天见。
好，明天见。
Okay, we have arrived at our place for trying these noodles. So I called ahead when I was on the train to see if there was any possibility to see how these noodles are made. And the boss was kind enough to give me a complete tour of his back kitchen and explain the story of how these ancient instant noodles came to be.
它就是汉代的韩信一个将军为士兵打仗行军打仗时候专门做的一种快餐食品，身上带着一种饼子，它就是临吃的时候就是光把水烧开，把面往里下就对了，就好了。它就是简单方便快捷嘛。没了说我这学面就是号称就是世界上最早的方便面嘛。
Let's take a closer look how it's made. So I walked in right as the batter was being mixed. The batter is made from half wheat flour and half buckwheat flour. It's mixed with water until it's smooth, at which point it's then scooped onto this hot plate where it's spread out like a pancake. It reminded me a lot of how a jianbing is made actually. About a minute later, it's flipped onto the other side, and then it spends a further few minutes on the heat until it's added to the pile here. 一个饼可以做几碗面？
15碗。
It's very, very interesting. It almost looks like a pancake that's, I guess, going to be turned into a noodle. I'm very, very intrigued what the texture of the resulting noodle is going to be like. Before it's cut into noodles, it's first left to cool down under some damp rags to make sure it's nice and flexible, so it won't be too stiff going through this machine here, the noodle maker. Oh, I could watch this all day.
现在拿这个可以吃。
I've been told I can actually eat this. It makes sense since the batter has already been cooked once, meaning this isn't your typical raw noodle. Tastes a bit, and texture is a bit like cold pancake. But for the best texture, it's definitely best boiled a bit. But the cool thing is it only needs 10 seconds, because again, it's already been cooked once. We just need it to get nice and floppy. And now we go over to the spice station. Yeah.
这个是盐巴、醋。 这个是猪油，这个是辣椒。
Whoa. I mean, it looks good to me. I'm trying to understand why people keep telling me I probably won't like it.
不符合现在人这一种饮食习惯。这一方面是这面是光是面，没有啥菜嘛。本来是这你看一般我买个车面啥，里面一放个青菜呀、豆芽呀啥，这是光面。这个的话就是。
Well, I'm curious to say the least. Let's try and see what I think of the dish I traveled across the province to eat. So first things first, I've been told I really need to mix it well. Loving how thick that chili sauce is, and that noodle texture is really intriguing me too. Will it be more like bread or more like your typical noodle? 我第一次吃雪面。第一次吃，看一下我能不能吃得惯。我喜欢它的口感很有意思，很有意思。I was not expecting this because I have to say I was very hesitant. I mean, seeing him make these noodles in the back there, it looks like a jianbing. It looks like a bread product. So I was worried that, you know, once it's cut up into noodles and boiled, on my plate it would just be like a bowl of soggy bread noodles. But it's not the case. It definitely has a bread-like texture to it, but at the same time, those noodles are so deliciously bouncy, so jindal. I was not expecting that at all. And because it has that slight bread-like quality, it's also really good at soaking in juices and letting those like chili oil and that juyo stick to the outside of it. So it holds its flavor so well, and I love the flavor. It's whack bang in your face. It's got a good kick of spice. It's salty. It's great. World's oldest bowl of feng bian mian, but in my opinion, also tastiest. I just think this is so cute. They also have these packages here of these xue mian for, I don't know, workers and people outside that maybe don't have time to like come and eat in the store. And it's like a feng bian mian. But xue mian, the ancient version. I just think it's so cute. I'm obviously gonna buy a few. Want to see what Derek thinks of them. See if he can tell the difference between modern feng bian mian and ancient feng bian mian. Hello, I am back in Changchun. Derek is here. He just got back home from work, getting ready for football.
Hello.
You know what more nutritious meal for a growing boy to go to football
Noodles.
than some instant noodles?
Hi.
I'm gonna give you a blind taste test.
Let me get ready.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it.
So these xue mian are incredibly easy to prepare. Just dunk it in hot water for 10 seconds and then just like instant noodles, you add your packets of sauce and mix it all up. I mean, it smells amazing. It smells very, very similar, if not the same, as the noodles I had in Heyang about a week ago. Look how good they look. Ancient feng bian mian in the comfort of your own home. So I'm putting in front of you now 2 bowls
I can smell.
of instant noodles. Tell me which one you think is the ancient one. First, I got him to try the modern version.
I know this taste. Classic instant noodles.
Who knows, you may be wrong. Time to come over to our next bucket here.
This is more... Oh, it was so spicy. This tastes more like a proper noodle. This is something more professional, not like instant. I like the consistency. It's much nicer than the other ones were quite thin. This one is a bit thicker.
Which one is the ancient instant noodle?
This one, the last one that I tried.
You were
Yeah.
correct! I also probably should have put them both in the same bowl. That would have been pretty obvious.
But this is, oh, it's very good.
And would you believe me if I told you that I actually carried the package of this in my suitcase for about a week, and it's been in the fridge for a day or so.
It tastes so good. Approved. Noodle approved. Maybe I can be your noodle approver in the upcoming videos.
Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this promotion to official noodle approver. I think he's done a pretty good job today. That's gonna bring us to the end of our ancient instant noodle adventure. I'm so happy I made the trip to Heyang. It was so interesting to learn about these noodles. I can't wait to show you actually how they're made when I actually edit this video together. And I mean, this is foreigner approved. Both of us
very good.
really liked it.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people, if you have the opportunity, go and check it out for yourself. Super interesting experience. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and comment, and please, please, please subscribe.
Yes.
And I will be continuing my food adventures next week on my channel. Yeah, that's it from me. Bye from us here in Changchun. Bye.